When you think of the furry community, what's the first thing to come to your mind, besides people dressed up in fursuits? You may have a more positive outlook on it, as it is a very accepting community and a place where a lot of people can express themselves without judgment. To an extent, of course. On the opposite end, you may dislike or even hate the community as a whole because of the horrible and downright disturbing actions committed by some of its members. Or maybe you're like me, somewhere in the middle, understanding that most furries are harmless and that every large community will have some horrific people attached to them. Regardless of how you feel about furries, we can all come together to make sure that any predators found within a community are dealt with appropriately. Unfortunately though, this isn't always the case. And in some rare instances, these predators go a step further, no longer content with just talking with their victim over the internet, so they go out and do the unthinkable, taking said child away from their friends and family.
On May 2nd, 2016, Kiera Inman was reported missing from her home in Spokane, Washington. It wasn't until a day later it was revealed that the 16-year-old girl had entered an online relationship with a 30-year-old Zachary Jones who was from Virginia. Both were members of the furry community, having multiple accounts spanning across forums like Fur Affinity, Weasel, and Ink Bunny. Zachary Jones was better known online as Kilo the Wingless Dragon, and he had been a member for a long time, his Fur Affinity account dating all the way back to 2006. He was mostly a lurker, seldom posting IRL photos and artwork, which were mostly commissioned. However, Kiera's accounts were made a little over a week before she had went missing. It's not known where they first met, but he and Kiera, who was known online as Ayana Wolf, first made posts revealing they were in a relationship on April 23rd. Both of them had lied about their ages online. Kiera said she was 19, where in reality she was only 16, and Zachary had said he was 28, but he was 30. Kiera willingly left her home on May 2nd, 2016 with the intent to leave Washington with Zachary to live in Virginia. She had left a note for her family telling them not to come looking for her because she wouldn't be returning. Once news of the event broke out, the parents of Kiera revealed that she was developmentally delayed and essentially had the mentality of an 11-year-old and could not make realistic decisions on her own. The Amber Alert was sent out for the girl and the police were on the hunt. Meanwhile, users on furry forums and message boards were throwing fits over the whole situation for many reasons. Many argued if Kiera or Zachary was at fault since she had lied about her age, and others moaned over the fact that another predator was disproportionately misrepresenting the rest of the community. A user known as Rune had this to say in a blog post. The goal was to get Kiera home safe and sound, but instead it turned into a whole debate on who was right and who was wrong. Was Ayana the one in the wrong, or was it Kilo? As mentioned before, Kilo is 28 and Ayana is 16 with the mental age of an 11-year-old due to her disability. While some claim 16 is the age of consent, because of her disability she is not considered to be able to give consent, thus placing Kilo in the wrong for taking her. Even if she did have him convinced that she was 19, once he heard the Amber Alert, he should have turned her into the authorities and pled his case. But to continue driving on, avoiding authorities, and then posting online to get medication for her liver issues puts him in the wrong. There were many instances the man could have saved himself and still did not. What is done is done. Another thing that disappointed me was people wanted to point out that he was being spotlighted as a furry. Both Kilo and Ayana are furries, both play their part in the fandom, and of course, the media would jump on the opportunity to use a term that will draw people's attention. People in the fandom need to get it through their heads that this fandom will always stick out like a sore thumb. People will always hate and fear on something they do not understand, and yes, Kilo's actions reflect badly on us all. I would rather have seen everyone pull together and find the girl rather than picking out the smaller issue, which was the fact that this man was making furries look bad. Personally, I don't understand why the furries got so upset over this one, because in every article that I saw while writing this, I didn't see a single one point out the fact that either of them were furries, except for Rune's blog posts. Inman and Jones were spotted somewhere in Idaho before eventually being caught nearly back home in Ohio, sleeping at a rest stop. I couldn't get a hold of any records of his charges in any of the states mentioned before. However, we do know that he was at least sent to jail after he was caught and was faced with a charge for first-degree kidnapping. Kiera was returned home safely shortly after she was found.
I want to be able to make your lives better by giving you something that will make you smile.
This is Hunter Floofy Fox, or better known as Aaron Michael Zeman. He is a 28-year-old man as of today, but back in 22 he was 26, although his age has no impact on his crimes, but it does give you a timeline of events. That same year in October, Aaron will be playing Roblox, as most 26-year-olds do in their free time. And while playing whatever game, it's not really known or important to the narrative, he would end up meeting a 13-year-old boy named Evan. Something special about Evan that I think is overlooked a lot with these kinds of situations is the state of mind that he was in when he first encountered Aaron. Looking at some old tweets made by Evan, we can see that he was in a very low point in life, saying things like, "My room feels so empty and alone," or "What if I just skinned myself alive and gutted myself as well?" These are concerning thoughts for a person to have, even more so for someone so young. And I think it really shows how evil it is for people like Aaron to take advantage of these kids who are often in a very vulnerable position in life. And to think how many kids and young teens are in a similar state of mind to Evan right now, it makes sense why online grooming is a legit problem with the world today. So hopefully you're all doing well, and if not, at least try to keep your mind clear during these tough times. Back to the creep at hand. Aaron and Evan would continue to talk to each other more and more, even moving on to other social medias outside of Roblox, like Discord, VR chat, Telegram, and most importantly Twitter. While we can't actually see their private conversations, as none have been released to my knowledge, we can assume that the two were flirting with one another at some point, and it is confirmed that Aaron had sent and received explicit images from the minor sometime between October and December. Eventually in December, Aaron would ask Evan to date him, even going as far as saying that he would go to jail in order to be with him. How foreshadowing. Evan would agree to this and would make a terrible mistake, sending Aaron his address so that they could one day meet up. I don't think I have to explain why a minor shouldn't send very personal information to someone they barely know on the internet. After receiving this information, Aaron would begin planning a camping trip with the minor, and in the meantime, the two will begin to publicly interact with each other on Twitter. An odd thing that Aaron does is refer to Evan as his lamb, which I think is to kind of hide his relationship, but it could also just be a nickname he gave to the kid. But it does make things have a more sinister meaning when you realize who he's talking about. Okay, the news is my lamb and I are getting married on the trail. Wee hee hee, I love you my lamb. As I said before, the two would also play VR chat together, and we could see one of the dates that they had. This is from Evan's perspective. Played VR chat with the most amazing man ever. He's the one getting held, riding co-pilot, and sitting in front of me. Thank you for an amazing time, my love. I'm honestly not surprised that Aaron plays VR chat, as from my experience, a lot of creeps do. We can see this same date from Aaron's perspective. Happy crying right now. Oh my god, I love that man. I'm going to spend my life with him. I am so lucky. We played VR chat together for about an hour. Today I heard his voice for the first time since November. This is already the best Christmas. I love you. Some more concerning tweets include this one. Evan would respond to a tweet Aaron made with, "I love my dad. I'm going to miss him." On the 26th of December, Aaron would pull up to Evan's house and would drive away once he got inside his car, and would post this disturbing tweet that same day. "Oh, where has my little lamb gone?" It would be quite a while before the search for Evan began, as Evan's parents wouldn't realize that their son was missing along with his passport. After coming to this realization, the police were called and an Amber Alert was issued. Layton PD, child's life in danger. Non-family abduction. Suspect is suspected to be Hunter Fox. Victim is Evan McCooney, who's 13 years old, 5'4", 110 pounds. In the search for Evan, the police began looking into Aaron's Twitter account, where they found a cash app. That cash app was linked to an address, which was Aaron's mom's house. And when she was notified of her son's actions, she told the police the new car that he had bought, a white 1998 Toyota Avalon, and his new identity, no longer going by Aaron Michael Zeman, but as Tadashi Kura Kojima. I don't know why he would pick a name like that, but I also don't know why he would do a lot of the other things that I just talked about. After 2 days of traveling, Tadashi and Evan managed to make it to Nebraska, about 800 miles from where the kidnapping first began. They would pull into a gas station to refuel, but according to the clerk, they were acting strange, so he notified the police about them. And not too long later, the police would arrive and the search for Evan was over. After arresting Tadashi, the police would check his car and would find plans to change his and Evan's identity. This would explain why he asked Evan to bring his passport. Thankfully though, they were found before the plan could be completed, although it's very disturbing to know that Tadashi did not plan on returning this 13-year-old boy to his parents, and instead wanted to start a new life with him. Tadashi would receive felony counts of child kidnapping, enticing a minor, sexual exploitation of a minor, and dealing in harmful material to a minor by an adult. Although, as of today, he is still in custody and no actual sentencing has occurred. It's kind of weird that nothing has happened to him, but I think it's really only a matter of time before he ends up behind bars.
I hope you guys will be there paw in paw with me. And I hope we can go on this journey together, and I hope we can grow and have a lot of fun. So, stay furry. See y'all soon.
From the controversial case of Zachary Jones, a man who could have proven his own innocence if he was to just turn himself in, to the inexcusable actions of Tadashi, or Aaron, with his plans to start a new life with a 13-year-old boy, so that he could continue to abuse him. These people represent some of the worst aspects of the furry community, but as I stated before, they should not represent the entire community as a whole. Many furries actually condemn the actions of these people, and even help in trying to find and stop these people. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and share the video around. If you really want to support me, consider becoming a member and get your name shown in the intro of my videos. Thank you to Hyrougal for his segment on Zachary Jones. Consider checking him out. The link to his channel is in the description. I'll see you next time. Peace out.